expected to act right, making an example.
A woman is a child.
And the traditional leaders also.
I'm the firstborn as a wife.
Yes, to my husband. It can start from childhood trauma. The way in which I was brought up by my parents. So let us go back. Educate our parents, and older men even, because most guys don't have money.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning.
Thank you guys for coming to our round table. We'll be discussing our gender-based violence issues. My name is Tikhona Mkhabela from Women Unlimited.
I'm Model Shongwe from TransSwati organization.
I'm Thobeka from SAfAIDS.
My name is Hlatjwako Sikhulile. I'll be co-moderating today in our podcast.
Thank you.
As we know that currently in the country, we are suffering the rise and the epic increase of gender-based violence issues and cases. We are here today on our podcast with our very important and lovely-looking guest. So I will be discussing briefly on the issues of GBV in the country. So maybe before we continue, I'm just going to give you a brief background on her voice and where we are as a country with relations to 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So Her Voice Fund provides support for the meaningful engagement of AGYWs, and at the center of Her Voice Fund is the leadership of AGYW. Being adolescent girls and young women, we want to see them in the leadership spaces. They should be taking up the decisions where maybe if you want to upscale policies with regards to comprehensive sexuality education, but the one that affects adolescent girls and young women, a young person, an adolescent girl, or a young woman should be at the center of it. If we are changing policies, if we are making reviews, if we have an NSF going on, there should be young people. Young people, but in general, we want the adolescent girl or the young person because we know their vulnerabilities. We know also the social issues that they come across, the challenges that they come across in their communities, and just in their everyday space. So today, indirectly, we are commemorating the 16 days of activism against GBV. And also, we are kicking the issues away. Issues away by there's abuse in the workspace, there's abuse in church, there's abuse in our communities, there's abuse in our households. But we do not get platforms to really talk about these issues because we assume that, hey, find a way, you're going to be fine. But maybe in this moment, I'm going to give Thobeka to briefly tell us what the organization do and the analysis of GBV in the country through observations, through the data and our everyday living. We know the newspapers. We know how we talk about it in the streets, but maybe briefly you can just give us the situational analysis as a country.
All right, thank you very much. We all are aware, as just alluded to that, we are commemorating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We all remember last week on the 24th, the Deputy Prime Minister launched the campaign. But our activities as organizations and stakeholders, we're hoping to work beyond the 16 days campaign because this is a serious issue. So after the launch, most of our stakeholders, partners hit the ground running, trying to raise awareness on the GBV issue in the country. We have seen the Royal Eswatini police. They created awareness. We have our GBV steering committee, which is also coordinating a lot of activities around the country. So the question is why is there so much work in the country this year in this campaign
going on?
It's because of the rise in the GBV cases. Our Times of Eswatini for the 29th of November alluded to the fact that every day we record about 6 cases. in general, our data shows that 1 in 3 girls or 3 women experience gender-based violence at some point in her lifetime. Yeah, we've also seen the situational analysis report for services on GBV, SRH, and HIV for adolescents. It has shown that most of the girls on daily basis are experiencing GBV. And we also picked that there's an emerging issue now that our adolescent boys are experiencing physical abuse on daily basis. So I will share the report if one needs to see that. We've also seen the achievements that the country has made towards the fight against HIV. When we are celebrating, we have attained most of the targets that were set for 2023. But looking at the GBV issues, where we see the rise in adolescents, especially adolescent women, adolescent girls and young women, there's a rise in HIV infection. So there's some relationship between GBV and HIV. So in a way that will set the country back in issues of the attainments that we already done for 2023. So yeah, that's the country status at the moment. So it's a serious case. That's why everyone is moving around trying to create awareness. So we hope our panelists, our guests, will be of use to us to share ideas, because the main reason we are here, we want to come up with joint strategies to raise awareness on GBV in our different corners. We also want to come with actions that we can take from here that we need to do in our different corners in terms of raising awareness on GBV. So yeah, I think we can start our discussion.
Yeah, maybe with our first panelist, because we're having segments of our panelists today, but we welcome you again. We hope you're relaxed and you'll share the information that we need today. But more than anything, it's a dialogue. We know the vulnerabilities with regards to young people, especially HYWs. We know the vulnerabilities in the LGBTQI community and the violations, but maybe you can share a bit on the misconceptions that we have that are centered around lack of awareness. Anything that you have observed, my misconceptions, GBV.
I think, thank you so much, Sikhulile. I think as young people, we are faced with misconceptions pertaining that males are more important compared to females. So
we are the least important.
Yeah, we are the least important. So you find that even when it comes to our families, the people that are given the most attention or given the most recognition are the men as compared to the women, then we find ourselves vulnerable. In that sense, we start moving out from home. We go out in search for love, in search for attention, in search for the basic things that we need as a woman.
Yeah,
we have a lot of things that we need. We need to be taken care of. We need to feel loved. We need to maintain ourselves and our bodies as
have
we grow.
that sense of belonging.
Yes, a sense of belonging. So if a guy comes and says, an older man even, because most guys don't have money. They really don't. So if I want money, then I'll go for an older man that is going to say, I'll offer you everything that you need. And in that way, I end up having to do whatever he says I should do, because I'm desperate for money.
The money.
I'm in need for money. I'm in varsity now, and the allowance is not enough. Or I just completed Form 5. I'm on my way to varsity. Say maybe I'm called, I'm qualified. I'll go up there. I find an older man that says, I'll pay for varsity fees. You're just going to be my side, don. And when you are his side, don, whenever, anytime is tea time for him. When he calls you and says, I'm coming off,
Studying or busy with your school things.
I now have to attend to him. And it hurts.
And if you have a roomie, you are already violating me also.
Yes, I'm violating
roomie because I need to
roomie.
give you space.
Exactly. And I have to convince roomie, because you know what, Ro? I'll buy you. You know what? He's going to bring us stuff. So definitely stuff.
We won't be hungry.
We'll be fine. We won't be hungry. You understand? And when now you're just like, no, man, that can't be what goes on closed doors. That is what happens.
And sometimes we even condone the type of violence because we're like, what am I going to survive with?
And there's no other way. It's either you do it this way or Because
no other way.
we lack his support. Say maybe if we had my families that were backing us, we wouldn't find ourselves in such situations.
Probably organizations coming on to give us that kind of awareness.
Yes,
and
talking to us, empowering us every now and again. Because girls,
it's not about that kind
it's
of
not
love.
about that. You understand? You can find self-love in every other way. But then again, here we are, trying our level best to make ends meet. So because of those misconceptions, we find ourselves falling into a trap.
Yeah.
That is difficult to pull out of.
That's very interesting, Thobeka. But may I ask, in that space, after having related that, do you think young women can be part of the fight against GBV?
Of course. If we can find a way of pulling in the same direction as women, we can definitely fight against GBV. Because women are the most powerful.
Yes.
We are very powerful. And if we can choose to work together, we can achieve so much.
Yeah.
We understand. We're the only people that can bear children. To be honest, we bring lives onto this earth. So imagine what we can do. Nothing I decide as Bambanen, the older women, the women that are now in better positions or in better places, pull the younger ones up. We have adolescent girls. We have orphans, people that do not even have the parents. Yes. Yeah. But if we come up with women that are in better positions now, coming back to pull the others up, we can achieve so much.
True.
So it's only a matter of kubambana and pulling each other up. We can even stop the trend of everything that has been happening pertaining from the roots upwards.
Okay, thank you. So the moment you have support to fight GBV, you will forget the nice things that you get from the sugar daddies.
It's not necessarily forgetting, but I will not have the urge to want to go there because now I have the support. I have people that I need pets. Because I'm in need of pets. That's a need. I need them. So no problem. You know what? Every month I'll social out to my pets. You understand? Ndognika 50 rand to my stock sweet.
Yeah.
We are gonna look to empowering me as well.
Yes,
it's the empowerment and support. That way.
Maybe we also want to get it from the LGBTQI community. We understand that current states in the country, we are trying to improve. I like to be focusing on the positive side. We are trying to improve. We are not what we in probably 10 years.
10 years ago.
So baby steps, I know, but we are there. Maybe you can share a bit on how does the comprehensiveness of LGBTQI community, how do they suffer gender-based violence in maybe the most challenging small factors where me and you would assume I will stop exaggerating. This is not GBV, but Bona at their spaces, their homes, anywhere that they could be in the workplace. How do they suffer gender-based violence?
Oh, thank you, Sikhulile. The LGBTI community face, first and foremost, stigma. So that stigma, it is then elevated to the gender-based violence because the society where we live in, the workspaces where we go to, the schools where we go to, you find that there are a lot of people who are homophobic. When they are homophobic, some of them will then propose to us as a way to come closer to that person, that trans person or that gay person, and then when this person comes closer, and then that person will try and beat that person one way or the other, and then rape cases comes in, corrective rape comes in, calling their friends in a space, and then you come to that space, and then when reporting those cases to the police, it becomes difficult when someone maybe like me, maybe someone cannot even recognize, I'm a boy or a girl. That police will ask, are you a boy or a girl? At some point you feel disgusted and you then leave that service, and just go back without reporting that case.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
just address to my issue. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be gender
Gender-wise.
specific
Doesn't
to
matter
say
whether I'm a
you're only
girl
going to address me better because I'm a boy or I'm a girl. Maybe also you can take over, but also maybe I want to ask, in our different spheres, with the kind of abuse that we endure, do you feel like we need certain resources or we need certain support? It can be from the government, it can be from the general public. Behavior change. A small thing as behavior change can take us a long way. What support do we need in the LGBTQI community? Because I also understand that you've named a few of the gender-based violence happening. Is a lot. It's broad. What support do we need?
Definitely, we need a lot of support when it comes to LGBTI issues in the country, because when we speak about these issues from the bigger spaces, they shy away from these things, saying, no, this doesn't happen, So personally, I think there should be more sensitizations to maybe the public as a whole, because when you just pass by the bus rank, you hear these people calling you names, blah, blah, blah. Someone could even pull you by your clothes, no, you are not this, you are this. Why are you dressing this way?
Why are you carrying a handbag?
Why are you carrying this? We know you were a boy. So now, yes, we can see you've got boobs, but you are not a girl. It is disturbing for someone, coming from her house, going to work, and then when that person arrives at work, that person is deeply hurt. Why?
And I won't be effective at work.
Yeah, I won't deliver, So I think a lot of sensitizations will be ideal, and also to the health facilities where we go and access the services. And that is where I've got a lot of experiences myself within the health sector, because when I arrived there at the card rooms, please give me your ID. I give them the ID. But we see a woman in front of me, please give me your own ID. I say, this is my ID. I'm a trans. What is that? They don't even understand what's a trans. Even at banks, you produce your ID. Can we have your own ID? We see a woman in front of us. There's a lot. Even at mobile money agents bringing my ID. You see, can we have your own ID? There's a lot. So I think that sensitization could go a long way, and also from radios, papers, TV, social media platforms, from all the social media platforms. I think that would also help us a long way, because there's a lot we are going through.
Yeah. It's a broad issue.
Yeah, a very big one. Okay, I think we have touched at some of the issues of barriers. So would you associate those barriers as cultural, institutional? What kind of barriers are you experiencing in accessing services whereby you need help in relation to GBV?
Mostly it is cultural, because when you speak from a certain congregation that I'm trans, this has been happening to me ever since I was born. It is not something that I just left overnight, and then I think that, I want to be trans, I want to be gay, I want to be lesbian. No, it is something one is born, of. But there's this particular meeting I went to at Sibane. That was where I was sensitizing the prosecutors, and there was this one particular guy. If I wasn't strong, I was going to cry, but I did not cry. And I shared my own experience, and the others were saying, wow, you are experiencing this. And then this particular guy said, yes, we hear what you are saying, but we are Swazis. We know what should be happening. When you are born male, you should act and and feel and do what the other society members does. So even if you do whatever you do, we cannot accept you. Do you know how that feels?
Just playing the way you say it.
Yeah.
Or even worse, even.
Yeah. They are worsening the situation. We cannot accept you the way you are. If that was your brother, then you will say, wow, I'm dead, because at the end of the day, I should be going home. So
with this kind of person.
And most of them, they go into extent where whereby beating you up, that we want you to change,
We want you to
So
be-
much violence.
to be that guy, want you to change. How am I going to change? I normally make an example of an albino. That can an albino change from the color of his or her skin to a black person? No, that person
Because
cannot
also
change.
another issue, now that you're touching another issue, it's only the color of the skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's nothing else. It's just the color of the skin.
There's a lot of discrimination going on.
But maybe
Nothing
coming back to the perspectives of young people. Do you feel what are the gaps that you see? Probably in the implementation of GBV programming and policies. Gaps lakhona lova ngazuthi probably the country should have tackled the issues of GBV with relations to HVYW ngale ndlela leka so, or civil society should come to us and give us pads every month, or civil society should go to the tertiary institutions and give young people money. What suggestions would you have with regards to the way we should be handling gender-based violence?
Thank you so much, Sikhulile. I think with regards to gender-based violence, we should first allow ourselves to understand that gender-based violence doesn't start when now I'm a 15-year-old girl. It can start from childhood trauma, the way in which I was brought up by my parents. So let us go back. Educate our parents, educate new mothers, new parents, new couples as to how you bring up a child. You bring up a child with love. You bring up a child with care. You bring up so that the child is brought up knowing that I have everything I need from home. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. That okay gets us so we've got everything. But if I know and I am content with who I am and I know who I am, I'll go a longer way. So now that we have to deal with the issue at our older ages, you see that now it's a bit shaky because now we feel like we need to go to the university and find more money to them. Yet, if we come back to the side, tackle it from the roots, we come up with it, and then we come back to the issue of having orphans or children that are underprivileged. We go back to schools, we allocate, or maybe not necessarily locate because then it sounds offensive, but we find means of making these needs of young girls available to them. We provide pads instead of
simple issue of sanitary pads.
Sanitary pads, we provide pads to them.
Yeah.
Because there's an issue of, you remember one spoke about the issue of having condoms being given out for free. But
Available to everyone.
They're readily available, but we can't readily have pads available. Yet pads I need.
I cannot even stop my periods.
Exactly. Yet you can choose whether to engage in sexual activities or not. So we have that given out to the schools, made accessible and available to every girl child that needs them. And then in that way, we are migrating in a way that is going to ensure that gender-based violence, these things that end up leading, these things that end up leading to girls being so vulnerable that they're in need of even the slightest necessities would come to a halt, because then we would not need to have so many girls even getting to a point where they have to sell their bodies.
For toiletries.
For something as little as toiletries.
I'm picking something from your comment that we need to start the GP education as early as we can.
Yes.
That's
Primary
one of the
schools
gaps.
even.
That's one of the gaps that we have. That's very powerful because honestly, that's where we need to groom the child.
Yes.
She has to be empowered enough to say no where she doesn't want,
because
and yes where she really wants.
Yes, because even that will help the LGBTQI generation, because if they know who they are at a very young age, they'll be able to be empowered at that very young age to a point where even when they come up growing and discover that I'm this kind of person, they're already empowered.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very
and
the protection, because they'll know they have a backup, and when they are supported from that very young age, they'll become indestructible.
Yeah, so it's the support system for everyone, for young people and LGBTI. Then the education from a tender age.
Yes.
It sounds really interesting.
I've also picked the support from parents. It's really important, because if I grew up, my parents are fighting, and then if I get a boyfriend at an older age, I assume that, no, you know what,
That's the
if
way it
I'm
should
wrong,
be.
this is what you should be doing to me. And talking of empowerment from a young age, when you realize that you're part of the LGBTQI community as you grow, people's opinion will not affect you. But right now, I am trying to accept myself, and you are stigmatizing me at the same time. My process and my journey is going to be very long and stressful. And sometimes I wouldn't even feel like I'm part of humans. I should be loved like everyone, because the nation, my community, the whole society, whether I'm at work, I try to apply for jobs, and once I put it down there that I'm a lesbian, people are like, no, we can't. I go to church, and then I have got my brows on fleek, and then the ushers are saying, hey, you know. But if you are empowered at a very young age, I think I like the empowerment one. Yeah.
Just maybe to add, Sikhulile, from the empowerment also goes a long way with what the country are willing to do, you know, to help the young women and the LGBTI persons in terms of the policies. Because if the policies which are put in place does not favor you guys and us, really, we are not going somewhere. Because when it speaks to issues of SRH with you guys, when a girl at the age of 12 years want to take PrEP, they say the health facilities, the law does not allow you to take PrEP. Yet this kid, she knows that she is at risk. She is doing sex, but they are saying no, the law does not. When it comes to us as trans people, we are taking gender affirming healthcare, but the country does not allow us to take them. They say we are not allowed, only cisgender women should take them. Yet these medications are there in the country. People are accessing them. What we then normally do, we go to black markets to purchase them. But
at a very high cost.
At a very high cost. And then that person should be monitored and should know the dosage of how much you should take these pills. I just take them because I want to get that, you know, that feminine touch at this particular time. Yet the dosage is important, and also issues of the liver. You don't know how your liver is at that particular moment. You're just taking your pills. Health-wise, that person is doomed. Yeah.
So we have a lot of sensitizations to do. Because all these factors, they are all drawn back to GBV.
Maybe would have loved to have you for the whole day.
Exactly.
But maybe if we can just wrap up and probably give out a small motivation of what the government should be doing. But we've already alluded to that. Just a small wrap up to your perspective and the LGBTQI community as we try to bid you farewell for today. What advice would you have? Anything that you want us to be a take-home message?
For me, it's just to thank maybe the Minister of Health, you know, and the other partners which we work with. A lot has been done. I cannot say nothing has been done.
Yeah.
There is something that has been done.
True.
Yes, we cannot say we are satisfied from what has happened.
Yeah.
Yes, we get those complaints there and there, but where we go, we receive those services now. It's only those places where we feel not being accommodated, but a lot has been done. What I could say to the people out there could be that any person who stigmatizes anyone, it could be your child or your relative, but at some point you need to then introspect yourself that are you really someone who have got a conscience or what? Because let us unite and make a good nation.
Yeah, true. I like the point where you said anyone. Who stigmatized.
Any last to say, would you like what you're doing to the next person done to your relative?
Not even your relative per se, you.
Yes.
Would you like it done to you? Yeah. As a wrap up.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about gender-based violence and the issues that we go through. I'd also like to emphasize that as young people, we need help.
Yeah.
We need all the help we can get. We need love. We need to see therapists. We need to be able to talk. We need spaces where we can open up and talk about the things that we go through, because even that can be a place where you can start a healing process. We've been through things. Now
And
we need to
going
and we're
things
still
every
going
day.
through things every day. Yes. So help us get to a point where we have these spaces that we can go to talk about these things that we're going through.
We live ourselves.
Sometimes it just helps to talk.
To vent out.
Just to vent out
To
what I'm
vent
going
out,
through.
yeah.
Not necessarily to say you're going to come up with a tangible solution at that point in time. But for me to be able to relieve everything that I'm going through will help a long way. Thank you so much.
I saw a meme on Twitter where it says, "Can government build a room for us? We would just go cry and come back."
And then we come back. It's so much better, honestly.
Thank you so
I think
much.
I've already covered my not really question to say how do you see the future without GBV, but I think it's all covered.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
think
you so
we
much.
really liked our session. We're hoping for more sessions, and we'll see what our friends out there would love to hear from you guys, because you're already ambassadors of the communities we are from. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to praise us with your lovely presence. So we are going to be having another segment where we continue delivering in the issues of the issues of GBV in the country. So we want the perspectives from the diverse community, from pastors, from the civil society organizations, from GBV survivors, from the media, probably from also an old person, an elder person. How did you view GBV at the time? Because you find that we need to be breaking those barriers by now. A woman has to be beaten to act right, making an example.
A woman is a child.
A woman.
And the
In
traditional
culture,
leaders also.
I'm the firstborn as a wife.
Yes, to my
But
husband.
why would you beat your firstborn like this?
The Bible always say bam for bam, including you.
I'm the firstborn. But thank you so much. We hope that we're also going to be having continuous podcasts and engagements as we go on and on and on. But for today, thank you so much.